Okay, in this video, I want to bring to you guys pitch optimization. So what I'm going to do is cover base layer, the foundation layer of pitching mechanics, and then also look at some optimization pieces in your pitching mechanic. If you're starting out this year, this will be a good video for you to reference on how to pitch a baseball. And then if you're looking for advancements in your mechanics, this will also be a good research for you if you're in high school or if you're in college, trying to get a little bit stronger, a little bit better understanding the base of the mechanics in terms of pitching goes. Okay, so going into the beginning aspects of this, or of pitching mechanics, if you have an 8-year-old to 12-year-old that's first starting out at pitching, my philosophy is going to be a little bit different than it is if you're a high schooler. Depending on how well you are off, how well you move, and how strong you are, how flexible you are, there's a lot of dependencies that go into pitching mechanics and how well you deliver the baseball, something to be considering. Okay, so when we first go in to mechanics, let's start with the set stance position, right? So on our set stance, what I teach, and remember guys, that pitching is somewhat subjective depending on who's coaching you. Everyone has their own idea or vision about what they like to see in pitching mechanics. This is my take on it. If you like this and want to implement these thought processes in your pitching mechanics, then obviously please do so. And if you don't, then dislike the video and move on with life. Anyways, going back into it. On the set stance, what I try to teach early on is shoulder width apart on your stance, okay? And then I like to have my front foot a little bit more in front of my back foot on the set. And then on the hand position, it's about a fist width off from your chest here, so about there. So we're not going to be too far away from our body on our set stance. The elbows are nice, relaxed position. And then we're going to push our weight to the back side of the rubber. About your hip is even with the rubber itself when you're coming back. So if you're in front, it's not a terrible thing. It's just my way of setting up the base of a pitcher here. We want to keep your chin up and your eyes looking where you want to throw the baseball here in a nice relaxed manner. Okay, the second part of this, let's come over here, buddy, is the load point. So our starting point when we're going to go deliver the pitch. So we have our set stance together now. Oh, one thing, I want to talk about an advancement on your set stance. So rather than here on your glove hand, I think an advancement would be a little bit closer, a little bit more concealed look to the placement of your glove and hand. So it'd be here or somewhere a little bit closer hidden here as you go into your approach. So that would be an advancement from this position to here and be a little bit more concealed. Okay, so going into the structure of your mechanics. So the first part is going to be your load point. Again, if you're dealing or coaching 9 through 12s or however the age, it doesn't matter. If they're new pitching, then let's work a little straighter line load point at right around 50% of height to your leg lift. And then with that, we want to be conscious of where the foot placement is, especially at younger ages. I feel like if you see the foot placement come in like this, then what happens is energy leaks come out into the wrong direction of where we want to go with the baseball. So at 50% height and keeping the foot away from the back knee would be appropriate. We want to keep your chin over your abdominals, right? We don't want to be leaning back here too much. We want to get nice posture through the setup of the pitch here. And then from that point, we'll go forward into the next segment. But I want to talk about advancements. So let's say we want to get a little bit better on where we're going with the pitch delivery. One thing you'll want to do is lead your hip down the mound. So as you're coming up into your lift, it's more of an internal coil here, and then it's a drive your heel down and then back to your linear move, to your stride and separation component to that. So this would be an advancement position here as we're going into the delivery. If you're looking to maybe add some velocity to your pitch, try a stronger position to be in. Okay, part 3 is the low balance break position. What I like to teach is to try to drive the hip and the heel and stay internal with the top half as this lower half goes into your forward move, into your linear move, and then into your landing position. This stays at a little more closed position as the front hips open up. And so the only thing I try to is like go to a balanced stance here and then work back a little bit to keep your butt behind your heels on your approach. And then we're gonna go down, grab some ground with your back leg, and then try to take your back knee with your shin a little more vertical here on your approach. And then we're gonna spiral the back hip through the target at the end of the day, ultimately. But here down, and then linear move. On your break line of your hands, if you have a youngster, let's make sure we're not opening the gate this way. So if we're opening out and around, these are going to be energy leaks and they're going to take you off the course of the direction you want to pitch the baseball. So let's break down and think about elevating up through our elbows on our break line. Elevate up into your arm spiral. Okay, coming off into your linear move, one thing I want to talk about is the glove hand. The glove hand for me stays on the inside, and we're going to use the elbow as a guide, and then we never really want the elbow to leak past our left side as a right-handed thrower, especially at younger ages, because it's going to peel us off course potentially, right? If you're an advanced pitcher and you're separating into scapular load position a little bit heavier, that's probably okay because you can handle that position. But when we're dealing with youngsters, let's try to keep it a little bit tighter here and a little more directive. We're going to grab the catcher's mask, and then when we go to transfer our energy, we're going to bring him back into our chest. So our elbow is going to drive into our side or our hip, somewhere in here a little bit closer, and we're trying to stay in an inside straight line to our catcher or to our throwing target versus going past it and sucking our hips inward. We're always trying to keep our hips back behind us as we go to deliver the pitch. Something to remember or work on, and hopefully that helps you optimize that component into separation. On the hand height, once you land your front leg, you want the hips ultimately to fire, and you want to carry the rubber as long as you can through the course of the pitch, right? You'll see some guys that'll have really good internal flexion on their back leg. That's fine. When this hip starts to go, that's when this hand should be going into spiral or cocked position here. And then we go into transition phase here, where we go into external layback with your shoulder to throw the ball. When you go into your landing point, this I like to be at like a 120, and your stride length for younger guys, try to be at 80 to 85%. If they can handle 100% of height, great, but don't expect that to be a normal thing because they don't have the strength just yet. So from your 120 position, driving out, and then we're coming up off the back hip to transfer our energy forward. As this rolls forward, this hip blocks back in. This would be an advancement in mechanics, okay? Driving this hip back in. A lot of younger players are going to keep this hopefully at a vertical shin, and then we're going to stay behind it here. This is okay for young guys learning how to pitch. If you're trying to throw with a heavier velocity, with more velocity, that's when we're going to want the transition to be a little bit stronger. On your release height, you want the ball to be released about forehead height or so. If you're releasing the ball back here, it's too early, right? We want to carry the chain through the release point longer over our front leg. Hey guys, at this point, if you're enjoying the pitching mechanics that I'm providing for you, I do invite you to hit the like button, please, as it helps support the channel and algorithm with YouTube. So hitting the like button actually means something to us guys that are producing content for you and the public. So I would appreciate the support. And then also, if you want to learn more pitching tips, drills, exercises, and workouts, that's when you'll want to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future videos, okay? Again, I appreciate all of you and watching these videos as I've gone on throughout the years. Anyways, let's get back into the video. All right, as we've gone out and headed in. We're through the transition, we're getting through the release of the ball, right? We found our release height. And then what we want to do is ultimately get the ball thrown off front. And then what I try to teach, this would be an advancement component to your mechanics, is to think about a corkscrew. And we want to corkscrew through the catcher on the inside of our thigh here, through the release of the pitch, and carrying it a little bit deeper through the extension of the release point. If you get off the rubber a little early with the back foot, that transitions the energy and effort into the arm. And really what we want to do is take the stress off of your arm and put it in through the body, right? So carrying the rubber, holding the rubber as long as you can is really going to be beneficial to your arm health and arm care in long term. As you go through and you corkscrew through, right? And then we go into your follow through. So your follow through for me is just here where we bring the back leg. What I like to think about is like try to take your back leg over your ear, here down, and then over it a little bit better. So your landing point isn't leaking too much. If you go off to the left from that point, but you've done a good job going through your target, you're probably going to be okay as long as your arm is in a good decelerated position. If it's a younger athlete, you know, you can just stay behind it here a little bit better. I think that's fine for younger ages. As your younger guys advance higher, then offer them more advancement in pitching mechanics. So this is just my take on pitching mechanics in short term, right? Or short form. So if you have a difference of opinion, I invite you to share that in the comments below. I'd love to hear. So I love learning from you guys as well and reading through things, as long as the comments aren't too sloppy, of course. But it's one of those things where the more I know, I feel like I know nothing out here. So I invite you guys to engage with the material a little bit and let me know what your thought processes are so we can have a conversation about it. And then also it does help support too in engagement when you do these things. As I wrap up here, what I want to say is thank you again for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And for more pitching tips, drills, workouts, and exercises. Man, thank you guys so much for checking out the video today. I really appreciate that. Hey, for more pitching tips, drills, exercises, and workouts, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for me. And also, if you like the content we shoot here, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. And until I shoot the next video, I look forward to seeing you next time.